Hi, I'm driving into Bristol to go to uni today. It may look like a sunny day, but it's been chucking it down with rain. And I'm afraid I'm wearing my puffer jacket and my wellies into work again. I'm one of those annoying people. I really don't care what the weather's doing as long as I have the clothes to go out in it. And I'm looking forward to going out and walking around on campus. I moved to the University of Bristol from Bath Spa University, which is set in beautiful rolling parklands designed by the legendary landscaper Capability Brown. And I was really sad about leaving the campus there because I'd cycled up that hill countless times over the 17 years that I'd been working there. And I was very fond of seeing all the animals and all the trees and things that I had known during that time. So coming into Bristol, in a very urban, center of a big city, I thought that I wouldn't encounter much nature, but I'm glad to say that I was wrong, because I've started looking up and I've started really noticing birds properly for the first time in my life. And that's really exciting at my age to suddenly have a whole new interest in a whole new group of animals. So not only have I been writing about magpies and researching about crows, but I've also started to look at birds all the time. And yesterday I saw my first waxwing, and honestly, it was like I'd seen Beyonce sitting on a tree. I was so excited. I'd only ever read about them in books. And it's probably not that I haven't seen one before either. One thing about being an immigrant is that your environment changes if you've made a big immigration like I did from one continent to another. And when you're young, you kind of have time to notice all the plants and animals around you, and you might have a parent or a grandparent that is keen to teach you their names, and you kind of have time. I remember spending hours with my face in a stream just watching fish in a creek. And I don't have that kind of time anymore in my life. So although I've lived in Britain for the past 30 years, I have been dumb when it comes to talking about the nature here. Dumb is an interesting and horrible word about not being able to speak, or not being able to speak conventionally. And it also has come to mean stupid. In fact, it means stupid more than it means not being able to speak now. So those two connotations are really unfair. Somebody who spent, a few years not being able to speak. But I think it's really an interesting way to talk about how I've been about British nature. And just to illustrate my point, I'm coming up to a series of trees now that are along the side of the road on this side, so you probably won't see them. And they have what I thought for many years were crow's nests or rook's nests. And I did see, some crows often around here because there's, farmland nearby. Just the type of, perfect crow territory. Trees right near a meadow. A bit of a road so that, there are tasty things to run over. So crows like it around here. And so I, was always marveling at how resilient these crows' nests were and how beautifully they were built. And it wasn't until last year that I realized that these aren't crows' nests, they're balls of mistletoe. Yeah, and I felt really, really stupid. Because I had never really thought about exactly how mistletoe looks in nature. And then suddenly, why my mother's Christmas decorations include a plastic ball of mistletoe, and all the ball representations I'd seen of mistletoe in my life suddenly made sense with these perfectly spherical things that I had thought were, just architectural wonders of the Corvid world. So getting knockbacks like that when I'm supposed to be, a person who writes well about nature makes it hard to think that I need to learn so much. I need to learn so much, and you need confidence to start to approach the huge amount of stuff that you need to know when you first start appreciating the natural world in a new place, or if you never have before, or if you're a young person and you feel dumb, right? You don't have words to describe what you've just seen, and you're too kind of stupid to really know what you've seen. You're too ignorant. And it's very daunting, and I can see why people think that it's just not for them. So a couple of things happened. So basically for years I just decided, well, that part of my life in England was not going to happen. That ever kind of feeling intimate and understanding British wildlife was just not going to happen for me, right? But a couple of things changed my mind. 3 things, actually. And the first was a tree that I got to know really well by my office in Bristol. And I wanted to know what it was. It was this huge, I thought it was a cedar tree, and it turned out to be a species of cedar, the Lawson's cypress, so kind of a cedar friend, cousin. And I wanted to know what it was, so I found a book on our shelves about British trees, and I put it by the loo, and I just kept looking at it, trying to figure out what my friend was, and sure enough, it's a Lawson's cypress, and it's not only an it anymore, it's a he, because I've seen him in flower, and I now know that the way his flowers are formed means that he's male. So that was exciting. And the other thing was researching my book about magpies. I met a guy that leads bird watching expeditions, that teaches absolute beginners how to start bird watching. And there's also a wonderful book, and I can't remember the author's name, about how to do that, and I'll put it down in my comments. And then the last thing was, of course, Jackie Morris and Robert McFarlane's amazing book, The Lost Words, which is conjuring up the words about nature that were lost from the Oxford University Press's Junior Dictionary in 2007. So those give a really good jumping off place, and it's wonderful that, so many schools have taken this book to their hearts, and so many children are learning the delights of words like adder and otter and conquer again. So I suppose as I drive through the city, and I'm always looking up, even though it's a bit too rainy to see too many birds out, I'm looking at the plane trees and the little balls that dangle from them from last year's fruit. I think, there's this whole world for me to discover, and that I have everything I need to start discovering it, as long as I don't feel dumb. Okay? So, good luck. I hope you deepen your own knowledge in the coming weeks. And, don't be afraid to look stupid.